Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Toon Tales. Today, we're going to delve into the series Fishhooks, a show with a completely bizarre and original animation style that contrasts with its incredible humor. Fishhooks spans 3 seasons. Are you ready for a summary of all of them? Let's dive into the video.
1, 2, 3, 4, who's that knocking at my door?
Fishhooks was created by Noah Zeta-Jones, who has had great successes like Animals in Underpants and Pickle Manny, series that are better off forgotten than remembered. But putting that aside, as the name suggests, we're going to talk about 2 fish, one named Milo and the other named Oscar. They are 2 fish brothers who live in one of the many fish tanks at Pet Fish, a rather illegal pet store. In their inventory, they have everything from birds to bulls, and the store's security is not very good either, as throughout the series we'll see animals escaping and others wrecking the place. Season 1. Despite being great friends, our protagonists have very different personalities. Milo is an adventure-loving betta fish who constantly gets into trouble. On the other hand, we have Oscar, an extremely nervous fish who worries about everything, especially things related to Milo. Oscar saves Milo many times and gives advice to his brother. Also, Oscar, as expected from the cliché, is a fan of video games and science fiction movies. He's a lifelong nerd, and despite the deep affection between Milo and Oscar, they clash constantly due to their personalities. Milo always sees Oscar as a party pooper, while Oscar always reproaches Milo for his impulsive behavior. This all changes completely when a third fish, Bee, joins the group. Bee is a goldfish who is just as adventurous as Milo and dreams of becoming a famous star. She's always concerned about her image, but doesn't neglect her other hobbies, like American football. Bee always tries to hang out with her friends, but there are days when she's so busy with numerous activities that she can't meet up with the group. For example, one day she couldn't join them because she had a date with different guys every week. This saddens Oscar, as he has feelings for her. But hey, don't get too down about the 80s-haired fish. Fortunately or unfortunately, Oscar will be quite distracted trying to escape from Chelsea, a clam who constantly harasses him. Chelsea has a rather impulsive behavior towards Oscar and won't stop until she tries to kiss him. If you don't know this character, basically she's the 2010 version of Puka, but much darker. In the series, there's an episode about a dance, where Oscar finds himself alone. Seeing that everyone else has a date, he decides to lie and invents an imaginary girlfriend named Doris to no longer be the only single person in school. Oscar goes to great lengths to maintain the lie, like writing letters to himself and talking on the phone for hours as if he's chatting with his girlfriend. Milo, upon seeing this, believes that Oscar's relationship with his fake girlfriend is very serious, so he asks his brother to tell him everything about Doris. With few options left, Oscar continues to lie and makes up the excuse that he couldn't actually see his girlfriend because she lived at Niagara Falls and they couldn't visit each other because transportation was too expensive. It was literally the worst excuse. He could have said anything, I don't know, sharks where she lived, or that the water was toxic. But no, he simply came up with that. And as everyone is guessing, the whole issue with Oscar's girlfriend would cause Bee and Milo to be very upset, to the point where they borrow a truck from one of Bee's many dates to take their love-struck friend to reunite with Doris. Upon seeing this, Oscar tries everything to make them turn back, but nothing works. Even the road is blocked with a warning sign, but Milo decides to ignore it because of the power of love and jumps over it, putting everyone in danger, because Oscar doesn't want to reveal the truth. When they reach Niagara Falls, Oscar is in for a surprise. Doris is real, and she even kisses him after putting everyone in danger. Oscar rejects Doris, leaving her behind and telling her that Bee is his dream fish. Then he returns to his friends. Something I have to clarify is that Doris wasn't actually Doris, but it was Clemantha in disguise. She had spied on Oscar and knew everything about his fake girlfriend. Isn't this character scary? In this series, we'll find several characters with psychopathic personalities. Season 2. Among all the dates and school stuff, Milo would also have his own experiences, but there was something that excited him more than going on dates. It was the desire to be popular. That's why he decides to join the American football team. Seeing how Jocktopus was loved by the whole school despite being a bully, Milo, excited and with great confidence, applies to be the next player. However, there's a little problem. Milo has no idea how to play. Does anyone know how to play American football? I have absolutely no idea. Milo is now the new water boy, which angers him so much that he even decides not to show up for the first game. As the minutes pass, Oscar encourages him by saying that he is part of the team despite not being a player. He even makes a pie-shaped chart for him to understand. Milo still doesn't understand, and on top of that, he eats the pie, which doesn't make sense. This is the type of humor the series employs. So with his stomach full of cardboard, he goes to the game, but it's not held in a fish tank, but rather in a lizard cage, where there is obviously no water. That's why the water boy role is so important. If Milo wasn't on the team, they would not only lose the game, but also their lives. So Milo uses the water tank as a propulsion device and arrives before they lose the game, ensuring that the whole team stays hydrated. They beat the lizards and win, even though they were outside the fish tank. Now let's talk about Bee, who is very focused on her dream of being a star and only thinks about picture day at school. But Bee sneezes in the middle of the photo, which makes her worry too much, and she will try to destroy it in every way. However, Clemantha, who is the yearbook editor, doesn't allow her to take another picture and tells her that she can't live without a blemish in her past. This makes things even worse because now Bee thinks her future depends on that photo. So she opens Clemantha's locker, who is the editor, with one of those dinosaur sponges that expand when you pour water on them. When it opens, the only thing she finds is an altar dedicated to Oscar. Bee decides to enter the photography room where Clemantha locks herself to see the photos she takes. That's where Bee designs a plan to enter the room. As a first step, they send Oscar to distract her so that Bee and Milo can enter the room and finally take the photo. The plan goes well, but there's a small problem. Clemantha takes things seriously and has a super system of pearl projectiles and hooks to protect a yearbook photo. It's a bit exaggerated to protect a yearbook photo, don't you think? After Milo takes all the hits from the pearls, Bee manages to grab the photo and they get out of there, only to realize that the photo is completely normal. Bee comes out fine, and Milo tells her that there's nothing to be ashamed of, so the episode has no purpose other than to make Oscar suffer. Let's remember that the fish was with Clemantha, whom Bee rescues by telling her that he was her boyfriend. Obviously, it was a total lie, but Clemantha still gets furious and breaks the fish tank with her car. Season 3. Bee's desires of becoming a star would continue in the audition for a school performance. But as always, Milo interrupts this by coming out of the tank to try to explore the outside. What's the problem? It's that he had literally forgotten that he needed water to live. So he ended up on the floor while asking for help from his friends. Upon seeing this, the group would use water backpacks and rescue their companion. The kids wanted to go back to the fish tanks, but Milo convinced them to explore the place, saying it would serve as a life experience. This character almost died 5 minutes ago, and now he wants to keep exploring. I don't understand it. After strolling through the entire pet store and taking photos with a chair resembling the Eiffel Tower, the fish would be attacked by a cat. Both Oscar and Bee would end up under a piece of furniture, about to be devoured, with Milo outside as their only hope. Milo thinks of various ways to distract the cat until he manages to trap it in a scratching toy, using himself as bait to deceive it. This character almost dies for the second time in the episode. They decide to end their outing, but Bee realizes that she won't make it to her audition. So Milo comes up with the idea of using the cat to take them back to the fish tanks, making a dramatic entrance that earns Bee the role. Does any of this make sense? No. But the important thing here is that Bee seemed to be closer to fame. The only problem is her overprotective mother, who doesn't let her go out after 5 in the evening. So Bee decides to change her appearance to look older, wearing a suit and scary makeup to experience adult life. Oscar, upon seeing this, would express all the concerns she would face, something that Bee ignores, and she goes to the city in search of a job, because I didn't tell you. There's also a fish city, because if there's a fish school, it's logical that there would be a city. In her journey, Bee realizes how hard work and responsibility of an adult are, leaving her very little time to have fun with Oscar and Milo. Still, everything escalates until Bee becomes so nervous that she reaches the point of quitting her job, which she never understood. She never knew what she had to do or why. The point is, she ends up appreciating all the freedoms that being a teenager provides her. While it may seem that both Bee and Milo have the most interesting stories, things also happen to Oscar, as he is recognized by the school as the best student with the best attendance. However, he realizes that he is only 1 day away from breaking the record. Oscar, extremely excited, prepares everything to arrive early the next day. But Milo gives him a supposed alarm clock that has 1,000 ways to wake them up, something that doesn't work. Thus, Oscar wakes up late and only has 20 minutes to get to school. This would be quite normal if it weren't for Joctopus blocking their way, as he is tying his shoelaces. B tries to ask him to move aside, but he gets angry and throws them into the last fish tank in the store. Luckily or unluckily, Clemantha appears to take them to school. The problem is that Clemantha is speeding on the road, which causes the police to stop them. Milo tries to bribe the officer, but that results in all of them ending up in jail. Oscar, feeling defeated, accepts that he won't make it, but his brother asks for a trial, which is extremely fast, and so with no time at all, Oscar swims with all his might to earn the school's recognition. Interesting fact, Clemantha stays in prison. Thus, Oscar, with his perfect attendance title, tries to change his relationship with B, but a new girl arrives at school, Angela, who has the exact same interests as Oscar. Angela is the debate club president from another school, and with so many topics in common, Oscar is attracted to her. She invites him on a date, and after many adventures, Oscar and Angela start to have a stronger relationship, until he realizes that he doesn't have the question sheets for the debate. Automatically, Oscar thinks that Angela tricked him to steal them. So, on the day of the debate, Oscar tells Angela all his suspicions about how she spies on him and stole the question cards. However, she reveals that she actually only takes photos of Oscar to put them in an album. With this in mind, Oscar decides to forgive her, and they start a relationship. For the first time in the whole series, Oscar has a date for the dance. While Milo and B couldn't find anyone, on one hand, B wanted to take the cutest guy in the class, but Milo would ask her to go out with him. Since no one was available, Randy, a crab, proposed to Milo to go out with his dance partner's sister. Milo accepted out of desperation, and everything was set, although not quite, because when Oscar offered to go out with Angela, it turned out that he actually didn't enjoy those kinds of situations and would prefer to stay at home playing. Something I don't understand is, why does this make Oscar sad? He's literally the biggest nerdfish in history. The thing is, they end up going to the dance, but Angela wears a helmet, which makes Oscar have a bad time. He's not the only one having a hard time, as B's partner gets trapped in the janitor's closet, leaving B and Oscar alone, and they talk about how their partners don't pay attention to them. Oscar would try to ask B to dance, which was a complete failure. Luckily, seriously. While this was happening, Milo would be chosen as the dance king with his partner, a hamster, whom he had good chemistry with. The thing is, Oscar would tell Angela that she should pay more attention to him and accidentally call her B. So when the time for the couple's dance came and they saw everyone dancing, B would become sad and escape from the hall, and Oscar would go after her to end up dancing with her, having their long-awaited dance and trying to confess his feelings, but choosing to keep those words to himself. But obviously, it wouldn't end there, because those feelings would also start to arise in B. She couldn't stop thinking about whether or not she should start something with Oscar, but fortunately, after so many cheesy things, Milo would propose ending the year with a big prank on Mr. Baldwin. Meanwhile, B would tell Chelsea, her best friend, about the feeling she had for Oscar, which would disgust her completely and forbid her from dating her friend. The important thing here is that Milo was still looking for his ultimate plan, but nothing seemed good enough to him. That's how he would ask Oscar for help, who was too sad until Milo would tell him that he knew B liked him, and that he shouldn't tell her under any circumstances because it would end their friendship. Thus, on graduation day, Milo would fail in his supreme prank because Randy had beaten him to it by using an old prank that never fails. On the other hand, Oscar couldn't take it anymore and confessed his feelings to B, but she rejects him because she doesn't know what to feel. And with the group of friends practically dissolved, it would be time for a speech. B would take the stage, and while reciting the prepared speech, she feels something for Oscar, eventually admitting that she likes him. He is encouraged by Milo to go up on stage and kiss B, ending with all the characters singing the show's intro. That's how the story of Fishhooks begins and ends. That's it for today. What did you think of this summary? Let me know your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you don't miss any summaries we have for you. Until next time.